Hey, good morning, family. Happy Wednesday to you. Many things to discuss today. And the big news within the last 24 hours is that Joe Biden has chosen Kamala Harris, Senator from California, to be his running mate, potentially making history. And for me, after monitoring a lot of comments on social media, don't make this difficult, people. Don't make this difficult. This is real simple. Is Biden Harris or Trump Pence? Nothing else matters. I want to talk about that, plus a smattering of other topics on people, politics, and pleasure this morning. It's the Nathan Ivey Show. Now, listen, I want to give you a minute to like and in particular share the show. We are up on YouTube as well this morning. Please help me reach a milestone. That's 1,000 subscribers so that I can monetize my YouTube channel. You can find me on YouTube at Nathan Ivey, and you can watch and listen to the show daily on that platform. It's very simple. To my family up on Facebook, it's real simple. It's real simple. Biden Harris or Trump Pence, nothing else matters. I don't want to hear all this nonsense about what happens back in the 90s in the crime bill. I don't want to hear about Kamala Harris's prosecutorial record. None of that matters. It's Biden Harris or Trump Pence and whatever the third party candidates may turn out to be. That's the only thing that matters, family. Good morning to you. Welcome to the last honest place in Cincinnati media. It's the Nathan Ivey Show, powered by Sin Digital Media, a new voice in the city of Cincinnati. And we'll get started in less than 1 minute.
To the Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
morning, family. Let's get the show started. 8:15 a.m. this morning, and numerous things to discuss. And I want to talk about the big news, like everyone else. Joe Biden has chosen Kamala Harris, senator from California, to be his running mate. And I've been monitoring some of the comments, at least within my radar screen on social media, and it runs the gamut. There are people who are overwhelmingly enthusiastic about it, very excited at the prospect of Joe Biden potentially and Kamala Harris potentially making history. And there are some people who are not so enthusiastic about it. I want to talk about it. Trump has already responded. They had their opposition research up and running, and they were just waiting to see whoever he was going to choose. I want to give you his first comments. 1 second, family. My apologies, family. Welcome back. As I said, there are people who have very strong opinions against this ticket, Biden and Harris. And I'm hearing a lot of conversation. From primarily black folks that are questioning the decision to choose her as the running mate. These are people that's got problems with Biden. Hey, good morning to you, family. They got problems with Kamala Harris and her record. And I understand it. I hear it. I'm here for that conversation. But for me, it's going to come down to a choice between a third party candidate, which I respect. If you're a third party person, I respect your hustle. Thank you. I respect that. If you are Republican and you're going to vote Republican, hey, it is what it is. I respect that. But what I'm here to tell you, family, is we can't go back and redo the past. What is done is done. And we got to be forward thinking. We got to think about what would happen if Trump is still in office for 4 more years. That has to be a part of the equation. I've read just people like, oh, I'm voting for Trump. Black people like, I'm voting for Trump. And I mean, if that's where you're coming from, I'd love to hear your mentality this morning. I love to hear it. For me, the choice is very clear. It's very, very clear. And it's just like when you was a kid. You know, it's funny because, just the other day, having dinner, we have dinner every day with the family. It's family time. We get to sit down with the kids and connect with our day. And there are some times when my son is like, he doesn't like what we have offered, what I've prepared or my wife has prepared. He wants something else. He wants hot dogs or he wants pizza. And I tell my son, well, son, you can either eat this or not eat. Because what you want is not a choice. It's not on the menu. And I could come up with a whole bunch of folks who I would love to see run for president on the Democrat ticket better than or more than Biden and Harris. But we ain't gonna have that option. That's not an option. I mean, I'm sure many of you listening right now could reach deep into your bag and maybe not so deep into your bag and come out with some candidates who I'd be like, oh, you might be a Bernie person. Okay, I was a Bernie person, but Bernie is not the Democrat nominee. Not this year. You might be thinking like, well, he should have chosen Susan Rice. I like Susan Rice better. Okay, I'm here for that. But Susan Rice is not on the menu. She hasn't been chosen to be the VP. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We need to break that same mentality that we use with our children. If you have children, if you prepare dinner for your children, you've had this conversation where you prepare something, you put your love into it, and they like, I don't like that. And what do you tell them? Well, you ain't gonna eat today. It's simple as that. You can either eat this or you can take your ass to bed. Which is it? The same thing with this with this presidential race. You can either choose one of the choices or not vote at all, which is in effect voting. And that's it. All this stuff about the crime bill, all this stuff about her prosecutorial record. That's a difficult word to say. Prosecutorial record. It's all valid, but it's all moot at the same time because it's in the past. We got to look toward the future. 2020 is in the future. The next 4 years is in the future. What happened 15 years ago is a factor. It shouldn't be overlooked, but you can't do anything about it, family. What you going to do? You got a time machine? You're going to go way, way, way back in your way back machine? You're going to go back to the future? Like if you got that kind of technological prowess, hit me up. We can both go back to the 90s and change something, or at least try anyway. They probably lock us ass up. Two brothers from the future came back to change the crime bill. Yeah, we'd be locked up real quick. But I'm just saying, though, I mean, grow up. Grow up. Don't make this more difficult than it has to be, family. This is real simple. This is third party candidate, Republican candidate, or Democrat candidate. There is no plan. There is no fourth plan. There is no fourth plan of this. You got three options. And of course, there might be multiple third-party candidates. So in fact, you might have multiple options. We'll see if they get a chance to get on the ballot in your particular state. But come on, grown folks, stand up. This is what it is. This is what it is. Again, you ain't got to like it. This might be an election where you hold your nose and you vote because you don't like the smell of it. But I'm just here to tell you, there's a lot of really serious issues that are at play here. And I mean, how many people think that Trump has dealt with the coronavirus in a way that's been about public safety and the prevention of the loss of lives? Because I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I think that if there was somebody else as president, it would have been a far more effective job. I think we'd be having a whole different conversation about the opening of our schools because we would have responsible leadership at the federal level. I'm just telling you. If you're a black person, you got to ask yourself, I mean, has the last 4 years been good for you? Has the environment created by Trump and his administration been good for you and your business? Or you in general? You got to make that's a personal decision. But all this belly aching about what you don't want, it's like my son. I don't care what the fuck you want. This is what you got tonight. Daddy, I want hot dogs tonight, he said last week. I think we were having, chicken Alfredo or something. He's like, I want hot dogs. I'm looking at him like, Negro, please, you better eat this. It's what you got. You can either eat this or you can go to your room. You can go play. But I'm not about to make you hot dogs. That's not on the menu for tonight. Same thing with 2020. Here's what's on the menu. Third party candidate, Biden Harris or Trump Pence. That's it. You don't get no hot dogs. That's what it is. You might not get a sexy candidate that really, really just makes you like you felt with Obama. I mean, I'll say it again. Black voters and voters in general deserve to be inspired when you go to the ballot box. We deserve that feeling like, yeah, we're going to change something. Like, this is going to be different. Like, Camelot, you may not get this. It's time for grown folks to be grown and stop belly aching. And don't try to dress up your sexism and cynicism about her prosecutorial record, because a lot of you men out there are sexist. It's the reason Hillary lost. I'm calling you out. There's a lot of black men who are straight up sexist. Don't try to play that game. I ain't here for that, homie. Oh yeah, she was a prosecutor, and really you got a problem with female leadership. Be real with me, homie. This is the last honest place in Cincinnati media. Really the last honest place in America. We ain't got no time for the BS. Shout out to Black Russia. So last week, when we were having a conversation about symbolism or substance, was a big conversation I started about whether you would choose having the first black VP or the first black female VP as in vice president, or the first black female Supreme Court justice, I would choose between those two Supreme Court justices. Black Russia called in and said something very, very interesting. I got to give him props. I thought about it afterward. I think the brother was right. He said, you know what? We deserve both symbolism and substance. Is that what we potentially have with the choice of Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris. The choppers had to teach me how to pronounce it. Kamala Harris. All right. Get it right. Get it right this morning. 513-873-7134. What do you think about the choice that Joe Biden made? He chose California Senator Kamala Harris. And, you know, she went hard at him during the debates. She went hard at him. And it was very, very interesting. I mean, right off the top, we're seeing the difference in the type of man that Joe Biden is as compared to Trump. I've got a clip for you here I'll play for you in a second in which Trump, he issued this statement last night at a press conference. They had their opposition research ready for all the potential candidates that were named, right, including Kamala Harris. And so he's like literally reading off a list of his opposition research, right, all the negatives that his campaign can dredge up about her. And he's like, oh, yeah, she was my number one gunner. She was my number one choice. As if to say that he thinks, speaking from Trump's point of view, he thinks that she's such a bad running mate that by Joe Biden choosing Kamala Harris, that'll help his campaign. Negro, please knock that off. And he's like, well, I'm surprised that he chose her because she was so nasty. So nasty. Trump always refers to women who are outspoken as nasty. Have you noticed that? You picked that up? If you're an outspoken woman, you're nasty. But it also says something about his little sensitive heart. Because what he told us, and I'll play it for you, what he said is that if that was him, he wouldn't have chosen Kamala because she was going so hard at him during the debates. One big distinction we're seeing already between Joe Biden as a man who can, you know, take a punch or two, who can take some criticism and still work with somebody for the larger good. Trump can't do that. If you want to be in Trump's orbit or be considered, you got to kiss his ass. You got to get on your knees and kiss the ring. You know, that's what Pence is doing. So I think it says something positive about, in my opinion, Joe Biden, that he would choose Kamala Harris. And she called him out. She called him damn near a racist. When there was allegations about some things he was doing with women or whatever, she called it out. She said the women should be heard. She went super hard at him. And I'm like, Joe, I would appreciate it. Like, I like that. You know, give me somebody with backbone any day. I loves it. Rather than somebody just going to fall over and do whatever I say and whatever I don't need that. That's not useful to me. But what do you think? 513-873-7134 if you'd like to share your thoughts. Now, one of my listeners / callers is John from Florida. He's on the line right now. We're going to go straight to him. Because John kept saying, oh, he's not going to choose a black female. He ain't going to choose no black female. Now, some of y'all saying he didn't choose a black female. Some of y'all like, Kamala's not black. Then what is she then? When white people look at her, what do they see? They see a black woman. Is she black then? Get over that. Get over it. All your issues, crumble it up and get over it. Make this simple, family. This don't have to be difficult. This don't have to be difficult. Miss me with the crime bill. I mean, you know, share it if that's your opinion. It is what it is. I'm just saying, for me, I can't change that. You can't change that. And just like adults, parents who cook dinner for their children, tell their children when they don't like, oh, you having liver and onions. They're like, I want pizza. And you're thinking, I just made this food for your ungrateful ass. You better eat this or don't eat it all. I feel the same way with this. That's not on the menu. That's not, Barack Obama is not on the menu. Bernie Sanders is not on the menu. Elizabeth Warren is not on the menu, John. It is what it is. Come on now. Grown folks roll with the punches and they make the best decision per the situation. And that's what a lot of black voters are going to have to do. I ain't telling you how to vote. I'm just telling you, giving you a perspective on how to look at the vote. But enough of me, more of you. Let me go straight to the phones here and bring in John from Florida. Good morning, John. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Nathan Ivey and the good people of Cincinnati, as well as the good people around the world. And yes, those blasted choppers. Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm doing great. Welcome. Well,
your commentary and okay, let's get it right off the track.
Let's get it.
Let's get it right on right now. I am not happy with this pick, but all said, done. As you stated, we have to live with it. Let's move on. If he thinks by picking her, everything is going to be happy in the land, no, it's not, and I'll tell you why. But once again, we have to live with this pick. We have no choice. The focus is to get the rat out of the White House. I clearly understand that. So, let's see how all of that's going to play out, and it's playing out before our eyes right in front of us because we know the scoundrel, the snake, the Genghis Khan, the Caesar in the White House, the Roman Caesar of the empire. He thinks he can do whatever he wants to do. And you know me, I want him held accountable when he leaves the White House. So, let's get with Miss Harris. All these politicians have baggage. We know that. Yes, they all have baggage. Biden has baggage. She got baggage. The pick is what the pick is. I didn't think it was going to be that. But let's look down the line. Let's remind the choppers what John from Florida indicated many times. Whatever his pick is, it didn't really matter to me. I thought the best pick would have been Elizabeth Warren or somebody outside the African-American community because I think after 8 years of Barack Obama, we don't need any more foolishness. So I would have been content with that. But it is what it is. We have to deal with it and let's move on. But let's see how, once again, all this plays out. Let's look down the line. Now, Kamala Harris comes in. Okay, fine. But as I indicated to you, Mr. Nathan Ivey, Biden will not finish up his 4-year term. He's got issues. He's got health issues, and God knows when anything can happen. I think I give him a year or two. He's going to step down. She will move in now. What do you think about an all-women ticket? You heard me mention that before in the past. What do you think about the possibility of an all-woman's ticket? I'd like to hear your perspective on that.
Woman ticket? I'm still trying to process the Democrat ticket. What do you mean by all-woman ticket? You talking about projecting into the future, maybe 4 years from now?
Well, less than 4 years from now. I'm projecting if Biden only serves 1 year or two and step down for health issues, which he does have, nobody talks about it. Yeah. He steps down, she moves right into the presidency. Do you think she will possibly pick up a vice president as a woman? I don't know.
Let's let them run this election. Let's get through 2020 first before we speculate.
Well, the reason why I'm jumping a little forward, I think that's I'm jumping a little forward, and that might be a possibility of an all-women's ticket 2 years or sitting as vice president and president. But the only thing about that is Governor Cuomo in New York has mentioned he's put together an exploratory group of people to run for 2024. And that, I think, ahead of what's possibly coming down the pipeline, because I don't think Biden is going to even finish 4 years.
I know, you keep saying that. Again, let's get through this 2020 election before we start speculating on anything else. Let's do that first, John.
Okay. Well, I like to think ahead. And the reason why I think ahead is, okay, Biden, if Trump loses, Biden and Harris steps in. Look at the mess that they are taking over, that Trump is leaving them with. He's created, we thought Bush and Cheney was so bad. And they should have been locked up for the crimes that they committed by starting that war that nobody wanted. So we thought Bush and Cheney was bad, but Trump makes Bush and Cheney look like Boy Scouts. he took it to another level, Trump. The Genghis Khan, the Caesar, the devil in disguise.
I'm not sure if that's true. I'm not sure.
Trump is all of that.
In terms of his in front of the camera performance, yes. But what has Trump done that trumps going into a war of convenience just to put money in the pockets of the military-industrial complex like we saw with Bush and Cheney? You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's keep things in a proper context here. Trump he puts on a good performance. He's doesn't come across as the most educated or in tune with what's going on president, but baby Bush and Dick Cheney took us into a war that still goes on. So I'm just saying, keep it in its proper context. Hey, John, I got to move on, man.
Well, okay, I will end with this. But you have said, well, what did Trump have done to really put this thing? But well, he's appointed more conservative, right-wing fanatics, state Supreme Court people lined up, as well as he's made what? How many picks he's made since he's been in there? Two picks on the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
So he's put the country in a platform, as well as he should be locked up for what? 1,600 and something people dead. He should be locked up for committing crimes, and I want him held accountable.
Okay.
So I don't want to hear
if you want him held,
as well as
if you want him held accountable,
Trump,
hold him accountable in the ballot box in 2020 in November. Make sure you're registered, because you're saying you are registered down in Florida, right?
Yes, I am registered.
Did you confirm your registration with the Florida Board of Elections in your particular county down there?
I already filled it out online.
Oh, you filled it out, but did you confirm it?
Well, I have to check that, but I did do it online, submitted it in. I got paperwork that came from someplace in the state. Obviously, when you apply for that online, you start getting these leaflets from the state, from the State Department of Florida and all that. So I'm assuming I'm Don't assume. Double check. I'm not sure how they do things down in that particular county you're in Florida, but up here in Hamilton County in Cincinnati, Ohio, you can double check by going to their website, and you can double check to make sure that you are registered. Make sure you do that before whatever the deadline is down there, John, and then you can hold Trump accountable. That's it. Thank you for the call. I appreciate you. That is all. Thank you. Very simple. That man is going to raise my levels this morning. Get registered. You want to hold Trump accountable? Get registered. Confirm your registration. Don't sit back waiting, talking about I think it is, and maybe, wait a minute. I want to clip, before we go to the break, I want to play a clip from you, or for you, from the press briefing yesterday. This is from CNN, as you can see with the graphics. That's just a screen grab. Here is what Trump said about Kamala Harris last night.
She is a person that's told many stories that weren't true. She's very big into raising taxes. She wants to slash funds for our military at a level that nobody can even believe. She is against fracking. She's against petroleum products. I mean, how do you do that and go into Pennsylvania or Ohio or Oklahoma or the great state of Texas? She's against fracking. Fracking's a big deal. She's in favor of socialized medicine, where you're going to lose your doctors, you're going to lose your plans. She wants to take your health care plans away from 180 million Americans. 180 million Americans that are very happy with their health insurance, and she wants to take that away. So she was my number one pick. I mean, she was, as they would say, because hopefully you'll start college football, she was my number one draft pick. And we'll see how she works out. She did very, very poorly in the primaries, as you know. She was expected to do well. And she ended up at right around 2% and spent a lot of money. She had a lot of things happening. And so I was a little surprised that he picked her. I've been watching her for a long time, and I was a little surprised. She was extraordinarily nasty to Kavanaugh, Judge Kavanaugh then, now Justice Kavanaugh. She was nasty to a level that was just a horrible thing the way she was, the way she treated now Justice Kavanaugh. And I won't forget that soon. So she did very poorly in the primaries, and now she's chosen. So let's see how that all works out.
What are your thoughts on what the president had?
Yeah, so that's the president last night. He said, how can you go into Ohio? I'm in Ohio, Donald Trump, and I'm against fracking. What are you talking about? Said she's a person who's told many lies. Well, you talk about the pot calling the kettle black. How dare you bring up lies, sir? So think about it, family, and react. To me, this is simple. Don't make this difficult. It's Biden, Harris, or Trump, Pence. Nothing else matters. All this by the crime bill, I get it. Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel you. But we are where we are. It is what it is. These are the choices that you're going to have. If you're upset about it, then what I would urge you to do is to get more involved on the state level so you can have more of an impact on the process, the primaries in the future, because this has already been chosen. Am I wrong? Am I missing something? Set me straight. 513-873-7134. This is the Nathan Ivey Show, and we'll be right back.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
With the Bloomberg Black Business Report, I'm Donna Wilson. A black woman has been selected. Presumptive Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden has selected Kamala Harris as his running mate. Harris becomes the first black woman in U.S. history on a major party ticket. Election experts say galvanizing the black vote will be crucial in this year's election. Delta Airlines wants to increase the percentage of black leaders to better reflect the total population of its employee base. So the air carrier plans to double the percentage of black officers and directors by the year 2025 and increase black representation on its board. And August is officially known as National Black Business Month, and social media giant Facebook has unveiled a series to support and highlight black entrepreneurs all month long. That's your Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Donna Wilson.
Are you interested in medical coding, but not sure where to start? And scared of wasting time and resources? Let me help you with the right steps to become a certified, marketable medical coder. Learn more at bit.ly/5stepscoder.
This is Zoe Wesson. What side of history do you want to be on? The right side, or one where black people continue to be underrepresented in Hamilton County? Now's your chance to end 230 years of exclusion. In Charlie Winburn, we have a man that's received the Cincinnati NAACP President's Award, who fought on the Ohio Civil Rights Commission for 6 years, who received the Baptist Ministers Conference Community Service Award. Charlie Winburn has received the Southern Christian Leadership Conference Award and was honored by WDBZ The Buzz as Pastor of the Month. We know Charlie Winburn, and he knows us. He's the right man to put us on the right side of history. On Tuesday, November 3rd, vote for Charlie Winburn for Hamilton County Treasurer.
I am Charlie Winburn, and I'm asking you for your vote on Tuesday, November the 3rd.
There are few times in life to make history. Hamilton County was founded 230 years ago, but has never elected a black county treasurer. It's time for change. Elect a proven, trusted, experienced candidate for Hamilton County Treasurer, Charlie Winburn. We know Charlie, and he knows us. Charlie Winburn was the former chairman of the Jobs and Growth Committee on Cincinnati City Council under the Honorable Democrat Mayor Mark Mallory. Winburn led the fight to keep 2,000 U.S. postal jobs in Cincinnati. He also fought for wage increases for thousands of city employees, especially our sanitation workers. Charlie Winburn will safeguard more than $1.4 billion in real estate taxes and will increase new home ownership and new jobs. On Tuesday, November 3rd, vote Charlie Winburn for Hamilton County Treasurer. Let's make history together.
I am Charlie Winburn, and I'm asking you for your vote paid for by friends of Charlie Winburn.
You're listening to the Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
There is a link in the description of today's show, live stream and also Facebook Live as well, for today's sponsor. If you're interested in medical coding, you can go to bit.ly/5stepscoder. Also visit www.ohioprn.com for more, and you can sign up today for free. Could be a very interesting Black-owned local business here. It's a very interesting opportunity for someone out there. If you're interested, please like and share. Again, go to the description of today's show. You can find a link directly to that website. And then please like and share with someone who might be looking for an opportunity. Appreciate it. Listen, one way of supporting me is supporting the folks that support me via our sponsors. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Let's get back into it. Let me go straight to the Chop Shop this morning and see what's going on. The Chop Shop is the Spreaker chat room. You can join yourself. Go to nathanivey.com. You'll see a media player. Just click on the title. It'll take you straight into the Chop Shop. It's very simple. Go to the comment sections. Tanika is first this morning. She writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Miss Tiffany writes, good morning, all. Hey, good morning, Miss Tiffany. Living While Black writes, make today your best day. I'll try. I'll certainly try. Majestic writes, good morning, Nate. I'm sorry, he writes, good morning, folks. Good morning to you, Majestic. Ashley writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Ray writes, grand risings all. Pat writes, good morning. Pamela writes, good morning. Biden Harris 2020. That's what it is, folks. That's what it comes down to. All the games and back and forth. I mean, come on, we grown folks. We grown folks. It is what it is. We are where we are. These are your candidates. You got third party options, which, hey, do you? We can have a conversation about whether that's wasting your vote or not, but I say do you. You've got the status quo, which is the Republican Party, Donald Trump and Mike Pence. And then you've got what the Democrats are offering, and that's Biden and Harris. You don't have no other choices. It is what it is. Now, we can be immature about it and get caught up with our feelings and start talking about stuff that you can't change. Not that we should forget it. We can use it to hold these candidates accountable, or we can stick with the status quo. Now, which is it? Simple as that. And shout out to Black Russia. I think he was right last week when he said that Biden should choose symbolism and substance. It's going to take both. Black voters deserve both. We deserve the symbolism and the substance as it relates to the presidential candidates and whatever it means. And people have been talking about it ever since last night. So I want to get your thoughts. I want to give you a chance to weigh in. I want to hear what you have to say this morning. Pam writes, good morning, all. Tracy writes, hi. Brenda writes, happy Wednesday. Mason Marler writes, morning, Nate and the Choppers. Hashtag flows rated E for everybody. Hashtag multiple names mean multiple lanes. Hashtag spay and neuter all wolves. Hashtag black artist mural shade against Kamala Harris. Hashtag run with us or run from us. Hashtag dark skin versus light skin school day shade for Kamala Harris. Hashtag black prosecutors can't run for higher office. Hashtag Herman Cain was a MAGA soldier. Hashtag nondescript fathead campaign poster on Vine and Mitchell. Hashtag David Mann Amadeus wigs with lace fronts for wolves with no puppies. Hashtag powerfully authentic. You have to stop all of this. That's hilarious, man. Where's the ABs at? That deserves some ABs. Let me give you about 3 ABs on that one. We'll give it to you. That's Cincinnati's very own Adrian Bronner this morning. Casey writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Sharp writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning. James writes, good morning. Brian writes, morning. Hashtag Biden Harris. Wish it was Bernie Harris, though. Either way, November can't get here fast enough. Get him gone, he writes, or get him gone. I'm with you on that. Jared writes, good morning, hashtag team and I. Good morning to you, Jared. Majestic writes, I watched Trump on Sean Hannity last night and Republicans are nervous. Can't wait for Drop Squad 52 to respond to this decision. You know what? That's a good point. I'm interested in hearing what our good Republican brother Drop has to say as well. I'm sure it'll be the same thing Trump said, right? We can cue up what Trump had to say. If you missed it, this was Trump last night on CNN.
She is a person that's told many stories that weren't true. She's very big into raising taxes. She wants to slash funds for our military at a level that nobody can even believe. She is against fracking. She's against petroleum products. I mean, how do you do that and go into Pennsylvania or Ohio or Oklahoma or the great state of Texas? She's against fracking. Fracking's a big deal. She's in favor of socialized medicine, where you're going to lose your doctors, you're going to lose your plans. She wants to take your health care plans away from 180 million Americans. 180 million Americans that are very happy with their health insurance, and she wants to take that away. So she was my number one pick. I mean, she was, as they would say, because hopefully you'll start college football, she was my number one draft pick. And we'll see how she works out. She did very, very poorly in the primaries, as you know. She was expected to do well, and she ended up at right around 2%.
So that was Trump last night talking about Kamala Harris, and he says that she was his number one draft pick. So do you believe Trump? I don't know if it really matters whether you believe him or not, but that's what he had to say. Now, we do have our very own resident black Republican. His name is Drop Squad 52. You can find him on Twitter. He is prolific on Twitter, and he's a big supporter of the show. And what I appreciate him is that, I probed him. I think he's authentically what he says. He's a black Republican. It is what it is. But we got him on the line right now. Let's go straight to Drop Squad 52. Good morning, Drop. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey, and all the beautiful people in the chop shop and across this country. How are you, sir? I'm
doing great. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good, Mr. Ivey. And like Majestic said, I ain't running from nothing, Majestic. I'm a man of principle and a man of honor. So you knew I was going to call in today. But Mr. Ivey, I listened to your monologue this morning, sir, and I agree 100%. And this is exactly what black Democrats knew they were going to get. Another hold your nose candidate. Because the reason Donald Trump responded the way he did on Hannity last night and the clip that you played, it's pretty obvious. I mean, she ran for president. The proof is right there. She dropped out before the first ballot was cast with her name on it. So again, Mr. Ivey, Joe Biden and the desperate Democrats are repeating 2016 all over again, Mr. Ivey. This is pure pandering, because everybody mentioned her as the VP pick when she dropped out before her name was even on the ballot for people to vote for her. So even back then, Mr. Ivey, people speculated that she was going to be the pick. And all the way up to this point, she's been the one at the top of the list that everyone thought Biden was going to pick. But remember, Mr. Ivey, last week he was supposed to make this pick, but he postponed it. So I called in last week and I said it was probably because he was not going to pick her originally. And then all the fallout from the murder of George Floyd and all the protests that preceded these past 4 months, the Democrat Party caught major heat from their black constituents. And then on top of that, Sleepy Joe Basement Biden, the hands-on candidate, goes on black media, the number one black media that caters to the group that Joe Biden and the Democrats were struggling with, the young black vote, And he says, if you black, shut up and no, you ain't black if you got any questions about me or Trump. Then he sticks his foot in his mouth again last week with this black people aren't diverse. So here we go. He picks Kamala Harris. And like you said in your monologue, this is not bringing the Democrats together because they keep saying she is the first woman of color of South Asian descent, and her father is from Jamaica. So here we go again. Another version of Barack Obama. A mixed race, Team Light Skin is back, a mixed race Democrat politician that they're throwing in front of black Democrats and telling them that she's black. She's married to a white man. She's of Indian descent. Now, what you said is true, Mr. Ivey. When people look at her, she obviously is a light-skinned black woman. But everybody knows her heritage. She's been fully vetted when she ran for president, and she barely got 2%, Mr. Ivey. So Mr. Majestic and Glenn from Mason running around, thumping his chest, thinking that this means anything. My opinion, Mr. Ivey, this is nothing other than something that's going to be the lead in the media for the next couple days. But I guarantee you by Sunday, it's going to be another story because their convention is the following week. So it's great that she's making history. She is the first female woman of multiple racial backgrounds. So all that means is she is non-white, and that's historic. And I feel good for her and her family and everyone who supports her. It's a beautiful thing for me to see that in my lifetime, a black president, albeit his mama was white, and a black vice presidential candidate, albeit her mama is Indian, but still, this is historic for this country. So for all those people out there protesting in the street, talking about systemic this and systemic that, what just happened, Mr. Ivey? A woman of color reached the second highest level of this country. And just 4 years ago, a black man was at the top of this country for 2 consecutive terms. Voted on by
that has nothing to do with systemic racism, though. And Kamala Harris hasn't been elected yet.
I'm just saying, Mr. Ivey, when people are protesting and burning down buildings and assaulting police officers in the name of systemic racism, it's kind of hard to say when you're looking at a black mayor, female, a black police chief, female, a white woman mayor. I mean, Mr. Ivey.
No, it's not.
It's
not hard at all.
You have all these people that are in charge of the so-called system that are not white. All I'm saying, Mr. Ivey. And
the system is bigger than a handful of people, though. That's why we say systemic racism and not individual personality racism. I don't see your point.
The system is run by individuals, Mr. Ivey.
Yeah, a lot more than 3.
A white woman or a white man who is in the system has to pull the lever, has to do something to perpetuate the systematic racism.
So are you saying that because Barack Obama was elected president for 2 terms and now Kamala Harris has been... I just want to make sure I clarify. Here's what I'm hearing from you.
All right.
What I'm hearing from you is that you're saying that because Barack Obama was elected to 2 terms to be the U.S. president, and now Kamala Harris was chosen to be the running mate for Joe Biden, that systemic racism does not exist? I think that's ridiculous.
That is not what I said.
Okay, that's what I'm hearing. That's why I'm clarifying. That's what I'm hearing.
Okay, you want me to provide? Okay. All right. What I'm saying is when you see these images in these high places within this system that has been accused of racism, you have to question, well, how did they get through the system to be running the system that you're saying is racist?
Oh, so that is what you were saying then.
Mr. Ivey.
That is what you were saying. No, I don't have to think that way. I don't think that way at all.
Okay, here we go. I think this will clarify it. What I'm saying is, in a system of racism, you can prevail. You can move forward one at a time. It starts with the first, then it starts with the second, Then it starts with the third.
It depends on how you look at it.
With the fourth.
It depends on how you look at it.
It's not how you start, Mr. Ivey. It's not how you start. It's how you finish. The first spark is lit by one man. The first brick is thrown by one man. The first
It depends on how you look at it.
Cast by one man.
I'll say it again. It depends on how you look at it.
As its weakest link, Mr.
Exactly.
Ivey. Of course, it's how you look at it.
Exactly.
So
And that's
what
how I look at it.
influences that?
So if you have
So
a
what
few successful
influences-
black folks that make it, but the larger black family is not making it, are they really successful? Have they really made it? By your last comment there, if that's your definition, the answer is no. If
But
I
that
make
says more
if I
about
make
the
millions of
family
dollars a
than
year,
the
but my mother
system.
and my brothers and my
Mr.
sisters are living in poverty,
Yeah.
am I really successful? I would say no.
But Mr. Ivey, what you just said was the perfect example. If you have a family within a system that's not benefiting, when you see evidence of other families like yourself that are benefiting, that says more about the family than it does the system.
Until
Because the
we all
system
are lifted
that-
up,
the
no one is
system that
winning.
And disproportional, that system, black people and people of color are winning, Mr. Ivey. In the game of life, there is no buzzer at the end. You play
I disagree.
the game to win.
I
You
disagree.
played the
Like
game
in
to
Cincinnati
win.
drop, you got some big money millionaire black folks. But in general speaking, the black family is about $35,000 at a deficit per compared to the white family. So
Okay,
two
but what
things
about
can be
the
true
black
at the same
family?
time.
Mr.
You can
Ivey,
have a few
Mr.
success
Ivey.
stories, but the larger black family still needs to be lifted up. That's all I'm saying.
But Mr. Ivey, the success stories must be elevated, must be projected, and must be
Put in their proper
celebrated.
context. And they must be
Okay.
put in their proper context. That's all I'm
Okay,
saying.
but Mr. Ivey, that's why I listen to your show, sir, because you are living proof. You are the example. And I love that analogy you gave with your son and the hot dogs. That is what America is about. Everybody wants something, but you don't always get what you want. Sometimes you have to get what you need in order to attain the things that you really want in life. So again, Mr. Ivey, I'm not going to take up too much time because the Nathan Ivey Show is not the same Nathan Ivey Show that it used to be 2 years ago. So I'm willing to share the airwaves and the mics with everybody else that's joining the Nathan Ivey Show and the people who tune in to hear callers like me. So, Mr. Ivey, if you got any more questions, I'll be willing to answer them. But this pick, it doesn't really do much for the Joe Biden ticket per se, because we already know how Black America feels about her. We already know. So if this helps him get the college-educated female vote, I think that's going to be hard because Kamala Harris is just too damn fine. Drop Squad 52, dropping science to anyone who wants to catch it. Peace.
Appreciate the call. So Drop says it doesn't really help. What do you say? 513-873-7134. Jocelyn writes, replying to Danny, you do what you got to do given the choices, Trump or Biden. Right. I mean, those are the choices. It is what it is. Terry writes, the 2016 election should be a lesson to all of us. May's in the house. Good morning to you, May. Good morning. Good morning to you. Somebody writes, what the hell is he talking about? Speaking of Drop, let me go way back here because we got comments that are flying in. I want to try to get as many in as I can this morning. Drop says it doesn't help Biden. Does it hurt Biden? Kara Mitchell writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Let me see here. May writes, we gotta vote for Biden on 4 more years of the BS. Maurice writes, I think Biden made an excellent choice. Monique writes, good morning, Nathan and everyone. Good morning to you, Monique. Deborah writes, what's a doo-doo? America isn't even mature enough for that last name. Maurice writes, she's a firecracker. Speaking, I think, of Kamala Harris. Good morning to you. Let me go straight to the phones here. And say good morning. Let's bring our caller in. Hey, good morning and welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning. This is Sarah.
Hey, Sarah. Good morning, bro.
I believe Biden's pick was somewhat premeditated. I think when she dropped out of the race, I think at that point in time is when she was actually being vetted. She really wasn't my first choice. I would have preferred Susan Rice, given her prosecutorial experience in California as an AG. Her resume is decent. You know, you can't take that away from her, but she is carrying a lot of baggage from a number of the different things that happened while she was in that position as AG and prosecutor and DA while in California. But I think overall, given her position as prosecutor, and somewhat of a moderate. I don't look at Kamala as being a progressive per se. I think her policies were primarily moderate, which basically matches, it would appear to me, Biden's personality, if you will, or his political personality. In that respect, I think it's primarily a good choice. I think women have a number of different issues, whether it's reproductive rights, whether it's equal pay, breaking ceilings and things of that nature that is going to help. I think the biggest voting bloc that the Democratic Party has, which is women. So I think for the most part, you know, as I stated, even though she wasn't my first choice, I would have thought Susan would have been better. I can work with this. As far as Kamala is concerned, I think that this is a winning ticket, given what we have to work with right now with Trump and Pence. I just can't wait for the debate, the vice presidential debate. I hope that comes off, and can't really wait for that. I think Kamala is going to show she's obviously the best running mate in this particular instance. That's about all I got, though. I think that at the end of the day, as you stated previously, it's either or situation. And that's unfortunate that we have that type of system, but that's what we have to work with. And let's just make certain that we get Trump out of office this coming election. That's primarily it. Take care, my brother. Have a good day.
Hey, Sarah, thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you. Well, you know, there was a very interesting piece that I talked about last year. Hold on one second. What's up, buddy?
Hi, everybody. Hi, Daddy.
Hello, son.
I got a robot arm.
You got a robot arm. Okay.
My arm is broken.
I want you to have a great day, okay?
My arm is broken, guys.
All right.
So this is why I'm home.
That's your cast?
Yeah.
Okay, don't knock down Daddy's tea. I love you. Have a good day. I don't know where it is. Good morning, everybody. Okay, it's my son coming in for his cameo every morning. But like I was saying, are you hip to Democracy Now? They do great work. Shout out to Amy Goodman and her crew and the whole team. One of my favorite, if not my favorite, media platform and channel out there. They do great work. And last year in particular, it was July 2nd, 2019. They did a very interesting story titled Kamala Harris Says She Was a Progressive Prosecutor. Her record tells another story. And Amy Goodman spoke with a couple of people, including a woman named Laura Bazelon, who is a professor at the University of San Francisco School of Law. And she wrote a piece that was in the New York Times titled Kamala Harris Was Not a Progressive Prosecutor. It was very interesting. I went through the whole list. We broke it all the way down here on the show because at that point, you know, it was more of a primary situation trying to figure out who's going to be next president and getting deep into the background of these individuals. And Professor Bazelon, she did a really good job breaking it all down in terms of the history of Kamala Harris and some of the not progressive moves that she made. I'm going to post a link So you can check this out for yourself and kind of do your own research here as we move forward. I mean, if it informs you, it informs you. If it moves you to choose a different candidate, then it moves you to choose a different candidate. But I think I'm not saying it's not fair to get an understanding of who these people are. I think it's very fair so we can hold them accountable moving forward. But I'll say it again. It is what it is. We are where we are. And that's it. You know, these are your choices. He chose Kamala, and that's what it is. But let me go back to the phones here and say good morning and welcome to the show. Hey, good morning and welcome to the show.
Hey, Nate, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yep. Loud and clear.
Yeah, man, I just got a problem with whoever your last caller was. Not, the guy, 52 F-bomb, beat pass, whatever his name is. Man, how do black men come up with this kind of attitude, man? How do black people come up with this kind of, unless you're wealthy or something, how do you come up with this attitude where everything is okay because we had a black president and a black female running mate from VP or whatever?
I hear you, brother, but are you on speaker? If you're on speaker, it's just kind of drowning you out a little bit.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry.
Brother's talking about.
How does someone thinks that because we had a black president and a black female vice president to run and mate that everything is okay, man? Like systematic racism doesn't exist, man. It's way deeper than that, man. How do you think that because a few black folks made it that you have to judge, you have to look at things different, man? That sounds stupid, man. It sounds ridiculous, man. How can you come up with that kind of attitude? How can you come up with that kind of thought process? Unless you grew up with a silver spoon in your mouth and you haven't personally or you don't know anyone that's went through the struggle of what we go through, man. That's because you had a president and some other crap or CEO at P&G or some crazy stuff like that, man. Our struggle was way bigger than that, man. Can you imagine the things that Barack Obama went through to become a president? I bet you he has racial stories that you probably can't believe because he was a black man. I think it's because a couple people made it, man. You have to question if the people on top are the one making these decisions. Man, you sound ignorant, bro. You sound ignorant. And it really struck a nerve with me. That's our problem, man. How could you possibly believe that, Nate? I'm out, man.
Appreciate the call. Yeah, Drop is really happy because he struck a nerve this morning. I don't know if Drop really, you know what? He must believe it because he said it. I don't believe it. Two things can be true at the same time in this country. You can have the first black this, the first black that, and systemic racism is still alive and well. Look at Cincinnati. Look at Cincinnati on all levels. We got a whole lot of black first this and black folks in charge, but the institutions and systems that they are in charge of, people look at it and see systemic racism. They'll even acknowledge it. They'll say, oh, we got some problems. We got some problems. Coming up after the 9:30 a.m. break, I wanted to share this with you. This is real interesting, man. The Empire Strikes Back. Or we might stay on this conversation, but I want to add this is a Cincinnati story, but a Cincinnati police officer is suing over being portrayed as a white supremacist. And some of you folks who were connected on Facebook might remember going back like 3 or 4 weeks. I went down, they had a big meeting down at City Hall, right? Where some of the activists / public protesters were asked to leave the council chambers by our super thin-skinned mayor. That would be John Cranley. Remember this? And I was there on the scene, your eyes and ears, as they were coming out. And as they were coming out, many of them were talking about a white police officer, Cincinnati police officer, that flashed what they said was the white power sign, which is kind of like the OK sign, right? And I reported this, I streamed it live, their entire, post, the entire, public conversation or press conference, however you want to look at it, put it on my Facebook page. And now some of them are now being sued by the Cincinnati police officer, which is quite interesting to me. Very interesting. A Cincinnati police officer filed a lawsuit against 4 people alleging that their social media posts and complaints to the Citizens Complaint Authority falsely portrayed him as a racist and white supremacist after he made the okay gesture in public at City Hall. I want to talk about that. If we don't talk about it today, I want to make sure we talk about it tomorrow. But for now, let me go back to the phones here. Again, 513-873-7134. Hey, good morning and welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, Nathan. It's Kevin on the show.
Hey, what's up, Kev? Good morning.
Anyway, trying to make it. Another good day to another good day. Two things about the choice there, right? The first thing is, Mr. Trump actually gave money to Kamala Harris's campaign. About $6,000 is what they said.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting that now he's so anti, and before he was for. It's going to be a very interesting situation coming up, man. I too wait with bated breath for this for this standoff between Mr. Pence and Ms. Harris. I think that might be the best television throughout the entire thing. You know what I mean? Or internet, depending on how you're going to watch it. I'm gonna be in them. I'm gonna be one of those people in the Michael Jackson post, bro. You know, I'm gonna have my popcorn, a couple of adult beverages. I think that this entire debate season is gonna be hilarious. For my brother Drop, I know he's triggered, but he's hiding it well, because quite frankly, the person that right now is on the ticket with Joe is completely counter to his whole Joe soft on crime thing and all of that, right? The person that they say over prosecuted people cannot be soft on crime.
True.
It's all setting up well, man. It's all setting up well. The last thing that I want to say too is it's time to put the Sleepy Joe Biden thing to rest. They showed a picture of a video of Joe riding his bike, right? And went viral, everything. Everybody talked about that. And at the same time, they showed Donald Trump laid back in his golf cart riding the course. So I love what's happening, man. Kamala honestly was not my first choice. But that's a sister. She has said repeatedly that she was part of busing, that she, had to deal with all of the issues that Black folks have had to deal with. So if nothing else, she could truly empathize with what I go through, wondering and caring about my little girl. You know what I mean? And so that brings me on page. Get on board now, please. Everybody out there. The guy in the White House currently is a danger to the country. That is not a euphemism. That ain't a joke. That is facts. This dude is making our situation unstable in the world. And I said before, you might be able, as the bully, to beat folks one-on-one, but you can't beat everybody in the yard. And that's when the bullies always lose. I don't want us to be bullies, bro. Real talk. We gotta. It's time to move forward. Just Nathan, let's keep it going, bro. Let's keep it going.
Sounds good to me, brother. Thank you for the call.
Stay blessed.
Stay blessed.
You. Thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely, man. That's Kev on the sale. He's like, let's move it forward. He's already come up with at least one or two reasons why he believes that she is a good choice by Joe. Again, I'm interested in your thoughts, but generally speaking, my thoughts are this is what it is. We are where we are. Would this have been my first choice for a ticket? No. I was leaning to some other people, but this is where we are. Do we need to rethink and revamp the primary system that the Democrats are using? Yeah, I think so for sure. But that's not on the table right now. This is where we are. You got Biden, Harris, or the status quo, Trump, Pence, or perhaps a third party candidate, which again, I respect all of that. You tell me, what do you think? 513-873-7134. Let me go back to the phones and say good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan Ivey. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Who am I speaking with?
This is Special K.
Hey, Special K, good morning.
Everybody's calling in, huh? I will agree. I will agree with some of the people. Kamala Harris wasn't my first choice. However, I will support the ticket. And I can't wait for the debate either. Fresh homemade popcorn, not that microwave stuff.
Yeah, because she's not shy.
Huh?
She's not shy.
Right. And that's what we need. We need somebody that's going to check us. You know, Pence is going to come with his holier than thou background. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. As far as Trump, all you got is name calling because you ain't got nothing else. And for every name that he calls somebody else, he truly, I don't think people like that don't have mirrors because he's only talking about himself. But Cardi B, I listened to the lyrics first. Then I watched the video. My daughter always started telling me, she said, "Ma, have you seen the video?" I watched the video. I liked the video. I think the video was very artistic. Not something that I would let a young girl watch. But I thought it was very artistic. The lyrics, not so much. No matter what you say about, and I say that to say this, no matter what you say about Whitney Houston, her drug use, whatever, Whitney Houston was a singer. Aretha Franklin, and all the other ladies presented themselves as ladies, carried themselves as ladies, and became famous off of their voice, not their body. So I would tell any young lady, no matter what you choose to do, get your education first. Because that can never be taken away from you. And that's all I have to say.
Hey, Special K, thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah. Are you down with WAP? As a man, I love WAP. I'm just going to tell you, it's a grown black man. I loves it. I went to college looking for it. I'm all about that. But yesterday we had a conversation, empowerment or enslavement. And she said that the video was artistic. Okay. Listen, the man in me loves that kind of artistic expression. I loves it. As a conscious intellectual, father, I may look at it a little differently. But at the end of the day, I think there's some things that should be for grown folks. She said the lyrics, not so much. Let's look at the lyrics here. Whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. I said certified freak 7 days a week. Wet ass pussy. Make that pull out game weak. Yeah. You effing with some wet ass pussy. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet ass pussy. Give me everything you got for this wet ass pussy. Beat it up, nigga. Catch a charge. Extra large and extra hard. Put this ussy right in your face. Swipe your nose like a credit card. Hop on top. I want to ride. I do a Kegel while it's inside. I'm fond of that maneuver. Spit in my mouth. Look in my eyes. This ussy is wet. Come take a dive. Tie me up like I'm surprised. Let's role play. I'll wear a disguise. Like I said, this is clearly for grown folks. As a grown man, you know what I'm saying? With a grown woman, in this case, the wifey, I'm all about that life. You're a grown person with another grown person doing what you do. Hey, you all about that life. And if music reflects that, then it is what it is. I just thought it was interesting that it just seems like to be successful, you gotta have this kind of like style to get really, really big in the rap game. There's a few exceptions out there. Somebody brought it up yesterday, Lauryn Hill. I would say Lauryn Hill got really big in the white and then in the back in the rap game. And of course, we know that Queen Latifah got really big in the rap game. They didn't really go this route. But generally speaking, this is the route you got to go. And the kind of raps and records you got to make if you want to get real big. And get real big. Yes. Gobble me, swallow me, drip down inside of me. quick jump out for you, let it get inside of me. This is grown folks talk. As a grown man, I got no problem with it. It's grown folks talk. That conversation still on the table if you want to share your thoughts. 513-873. I thought I'd share some lyrics with you. 7134. Wake you up this morning. Wake up. Wake up. Jocelyn writes, you got baggage and so does your mama. So what? Damn. Maurice writes, wow, Ron writes, John, you was wrong with your pick. You don't vote anyway, right? Dale writes, John, your ass needs to be effing voting. Woody writes, coming from a Warren lapdog, speaking of John. Deborah writes, Hillary should have done what Biden did. She didn't, and that's why she lost. Who did she pick? The most forgettable candidate ever. Who was it? Who is this dude? I mean, I can see his face, but I can't even remember his name. That might have been one of the worst VP picks since Sarah Palin. What was the guy's name? He was a senator. I mean, I liked his politics, but his personality was meh. No fire. Like the most non-threatening white man in human history is who she chose. And to Deborah's point, had she chosen a sister with some fire and a record and some get-ish done on her record, then maybe she would have had a better chance. Yeah. Charles writes, John, what are you talking about? Y'all going hard at John. Iona writes, and she's on YouTube this morning. She writes, it's not on the menu. Keena writes, could you focus on 2020? John's already talking about 2024. That's because he's not going to vote. I guarantee you, people, John's not voting in 2020. He ain't voting in 2020. I don't believe it. Let's go back to the phones and say good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, comrade.
Oh, Black Russia. Good morning. Good morning.
Kaine, the most boring white man in the world in the Senate.
What was his name again?
Tim Kaine.
Tim Kaine, yes. The most boring white man in U.S. history.
Hey, the most boring white man in the United States Senate.
Oh, my God.
Even Mitch McConnell got more pizzazz than he do.
hate to agree with you on that one, but I think you're right about it. Is Tim Kaine even in the Senate still?
Yeah, he's still there.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, the losers go in the corner. They don't show up anymore.
Yeah. But, it looks like you was right, brother. I mean, you called this over a year ago. Right? It was like January 2019. We were talking about this and you said, hey, run with this ticket. And then last week you was like, you thought that Biden should choose symbolism and substance. Looks like you're right.
Well, thank you. I think it was an easy pick. The African Americans are the base of the Democratic Party. Everybody knows it. Even white folks know, even though they won't say it. I just listened to an interview this morning from a DNC official on commercial radio. And they refused to say that. And I thought that was mind-blowing. Like, people still won't admit that black folks are the base of the Democratic Party. They won't admit that black folks carry Joe Biden. They won't admit it. The white folks within the DNC won't say it. But I'm going to say it. They need black folks to be. This is the only way they was going to do it. They had to pick a black woman. They picked the most confident one who was already ran, who was a senator, who went from the bottom of the legal community in terms of prosecuting all the way to the top. First black woman district attorney, first black woman prosecutor. I've seen some stuff, people are trying to hate on her because her daddy's Jamaican, but, people have to understand 76% of the people in Jamaica are of African descent. So all this stuff is shit black, I don't want to hear it.
I'm with you on that.
People got to know the demographics of the Jamaican, but they just say, oh, she's Jamaican black. Well, dummies.
You breaking up, Black Russia? Hey, you're breaking up, brother. You're kind of in and out. Are you traveling right now?
No, I'm just walking around my spot, but I'm going to go outside to get some good reception. Is that better?
Yes, it sounds a little better right there. Small sample size, great. But it sounds good.
But this was an easy pick. He had to pick Kamala Harris. And see, now I'm going to support Joe Biden. How about that? Because
really?
You know why? Yeah, because he picked Kamala Harris in 1908, a.k.a. my sorority sister.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. See, this is how you do politics. You make the man trash dudes till they do what you want them to do. I said last year you should pick Kamala Harris. I trashed him from that point all the way to this point. You will not hear Black Russia trash Joe Biden from this moment going forward.
Okay.
I will reserve. Now, if you say some dumb shit, I'm gonna say it.
Right.
But otherwise, I'm gonna reserve my right to remain silent on Joe Biden until November, because I want to see Kamala Harris make history. This is more about Kamala Harris than anybody. I want people to understand that this ain't about Joe Biden or Donald Trump. It's about Kamala Harris. For me.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Hey, Joe Biden wanted the skeptical black folks on board. Hey, brothers like me, my Fraternity Incorporated, we on board.
Now, I wonder how white voters will white voters respond to this as well? Some will.
White women will. And I think women of color, even outside black women, you'll see Hispanic women, you'll see Indian women, Asian women. You'll see women turn out. They want to see the first female vice president anyway. They wanted to see the first female president. They didn't get that. But isn't it funny, though? Like, it just seems like more women than me are more excited to vote for Kamala Harris than they were about Hillary Clinton. Maybe that's just me, but
Hillary had a long history and a lot, especially sisters, man. I definitely see that with the sisters. Hillary had a long history and she had a lot of baggage. She had like Kim Kardashian type baggage. You know what I'm saying? Like going overnight, but you got 12 full suitcases full of baggage. And she ran a bad campaign.
Terrible. Ran a terrible campaign. It's just full of assumptions that she was going to win.
Mm-hmm.
I would pick if she'd have picked, like, think about it like this. If she'd have picked like a Deval Patrick or a Cory Booker back when she was running, she might have won because you'd have activated the black folks in the Democratic Party. But you didn't activate them because you picked the basic white dude and you lost. Joe Biden's doing the exact opposite.
Right.
Because now you got black folks decided to vote. Then this is how it was with Obama. I think Biden picking Harris is going to do Obama numbers just because he got Harris.
Huh. Well, that's all he needs.
That's all he needs. And for me, this ain't even about how bad Trump is. It's about making history with Kamala Harris. That's how I look at it. Donald Trump could have did everything perfect to this point. He could have had half the deaths of COVID-19. I'd still be going with Kamala Harris if she was on the ticket. Wouldn't even matter.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I see it. He changed the narrative. So instead of it just being about him, now he's giving, as you said last week, now he's giving black voters in particular and people in general another reason to vote for his ticket, Kamala Harris.
Right. He made it about history.
So what do you think about her baggage, her prosecutorial history? People say she's not a real progressive. She talks progressive, but her record doesn't reflect progressive. Do you think that'll matter?
No. Everybody's following in line. The black folks following in line, bro. Period. White liberals, they don't say whatever they want to say. They like Joe Biden. They're gonna vote with Joe Biden. They're looking at it from a Joe Biden perspective. The white liberals are. Black folks are looking from a Kamala Harris perspective. That's why you need the Kamala Harris, because you got to bring people together.
All right. I appreciate the flows, man. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. I was just going to say, just white liberals ain't excited about Kamala Harris. They don't care. Women are, and black people are. And that's who's holding the Democratic Party down. So he did it right. We'll see what happens in November, because anything can still happen. This don't guarantee a victory, but hey, he's more likely to win today than he was yesterday.
Appreciate the flows.
Take it easy.
Black Russia. Das Vidanya. I think I'm getting that right. He says that Joe Biden is more likely to win today than he was yesterday. Do you agree with that? I want to hear your comments. I want to read your comments. 513-873-7134. But first, I got to take a break. I'm a little 4 minutes late on the break. Caller, hold on the line. I'll come straight to you right after the break. It's the Nathan Ivey Show. I'm live, I'm local, and I'm vocal. Don't go anywhere.
Presumptive Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden has selected Kamala Harris as his running mate. Harris becomes the first Black woman in U.S. history on a major party ticket. Election experts say galvanizing the Black vote will be crucial in this year's election. Delta Airlines wants to increase the percentage of Black leaders to better reflect the total population of its employee base. So the air carrier plans to double the percentage of Black officers and directors by the year 2025 and increase Black representation on its board. And August is officially known as National Black Business Month, and social media giant Facebook has unveiled a series to support and highlight Black entrepreneurs all month long. That's your Bloomberg Black Business Report. I'm Donna Wilson.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent.
Are you interested in medical coding, but not sure where to start? And scared of wasting time and resources? Let me help you with the right steps to become a certified, marketable medical coder. Learn more at bit.ly/5stepscoder.
So, Wesson, there are a few times in life to make history. Hamilton County was founded 230 years ago, but has never elected a Black county treasurer. It's time for change. Elect a proven, trusted, experienced candidate for Hamilton County Treasurer, Charlie Winburn. We know Charlie, and he knows us. Charlie Winburn was the former chairman of the Jobs and Growth Committee on Cincinnati City Council under the Honorable Democrat Mayor Mark Mallory. Winburn led the fight to keep 2,000 U.S. postal jobs in Cincinnati. He also fought for wage increases for thousands of city employees, especially our sanitation workers. Charlie Winburn will safeguard more than $1.4 billion in real estate taxes and will increase new home ownership and new jobs. On Tuesday, November 3rd, vote Charlie Winburn for Hamilton County Treasurer. Let's make history together.
I am Charlie Winburn, and I'm asking you for your vote paid for by friends of Charlie Winburn.
She is a person that's told many stories that weren't true. She's very big into raising taxes. She wants to slash funds for our military at a level that nobody can even believe. She is against fracking. She's against petroleum products. I mean, how do you do that and go into Pennsylvania or Ohio or Oklahoma or the great state of Texas? She's against fracking. Fracking's a big deal. She's in favor of socialized medicine, where you're going to lose your doctors, you're going to lose your plans. She wants to take your health care plans away from 180 million Americans. 180 million Americans that are very happy with their health insurance, and she wants to take that away. So she was my number one pick. I mean, she was.
You're listening to the Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
So Trump says she, as in Senator Kamala Harris, was his number one pick, huh? Well, it seems like he and Joe agree on something, because apparently she was at the top of his choice list as well. Good morning to you. If you haven't heard the news, Senator Kamala Harris has now been chosen by Joe Biden to be his running mate in the 2020 election. And to me, it's real simple. Don't make this difficult. Biden, Harris, or Trump, Pence. Nothing else matters. But what do you think? 513-873-7134. Taking your phone calls this morning, getting your reaction. Let me go straight back to the phones again. Less of me, more of you. I want to hear what you think about what's happening and what's going on. And in particular, I want to get your thoughts about Joe Biden's choice this morning. Let me go straight to the phones and say good morning. We got Donnie B on the line. Good morning, Donnie. Welcome to the show.
Yo, what up? You know I had to call in today, my brother.
I figured so.
Oh, my God. So where do I start? So first, here's the thing. I don't have a problem with anybody saying, you know what, I'm voting for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden ticket because I'm on the anybody but Trump train. Trump's a disaster, so it is what it is. I recognize that they got some shortcomings, but I'm doing what I got to do. Respect, no problem. My problem is this newfound black woman in blackness that we're trying to put on Kamala Harris as if she was down for the cause when she's not. So I'm like, it's already, I got to shut up and dribble, and I got to vote for Biden and Kamala. But what I can't take is making her the shero for the African-American female community when she was a disaster. What I also can't take is these fake woke ninjas that be claiming they're down for civil rights, they're down for the things that are important to the African-American community. And then you look at Kamala Harris and you celebrate her when she's against everything that you purport to believe in. So let's just start with the police. So you got people in the chop shop that claim to be civil rights advocates. And we all support the use of body cameras by police for full transparency so that it's on tape when they kill us and beat the hell out of us. But then you rally behind Kamala Harris and say that she's going to be the first black woman and life is going to be great, when as a politician, she had the opportunity to make body cameras mandatory statewide in a whole state of California, and she was against that. How do you reconcile it? But then it's the same people that claim in our community in Cincinnati, yo, we don't need more police. We got violence all over the place. And when Chief Isaacs was like, we're going to put more boots on the ground, people was in the chop shop going crazy. Like, you can't just throw more police at the situation. Having more police in our community means more police brutality. It means more racism, and that's bad. But then you forget about how Kamala wrote a book and said that she wanted more police in the street, and that every African American, including herself, or every person, feels better when they see police in their community. What planet is this shit on? Because this morning when I got back from working out, I was sitting on my porch with a cup of coffee, and CPD rolled past my street flow. I didn't feel safe. I felt alarmed and concerned. Like, what are they doing in my neighborhood? Why are they on my street? What's up with the BS? So for me, I'm like, I really can't even have the debate with folks that haven't really researched her background to understand what she's on and her flip-flop. So my issue is she placates whoever her voting base is at the time. So it's the same woman that came out and said she's against the death penalty, no exception. And when that officer in California got shot, they were mad at her because she wouldn't do the death penalty. And she said, under no exceptions, I don't believe in the death penalty. And then when a judge in California ruled the death penalty in California was unconstitutional, guess who did a press conference and said she was appealing the decision and she wanted it reversed in support of the death penalty? So my issue is she black? And I'm not saying is she black because her husband's white and she's half Indian and Jamaican. Screw that. When I say is she black, I mean, does she have a history of doing the things necessary to make lives better for African Americans? No, she doesn't. She wanted to throw our parents in jail for truancy instead of really investigating what the real truancy problem was in her state. She mass incarcerated African Americans over marijuana charges, but now she's flip-flopping on that. The body cam situation, she's flip-flopping on that, but it's all about the vote. She literally came out and said in the press conference, I am against the death penalty, but I promise the voters that I will vote for it. Who does that? So my issue is she has no moral compass. Basically, she goes which way the vote and the wind blows. So today, in 2020, with George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and everything we got going on, policing reform is at the forefront, so she wants to sponsor a bill. But, boo, you had an opportunity to do all the things that we're talking about before you were in Congress, before you decided to run for president, and before you was Biden's VP pick. I look at what you do in the dark, not what you do in the light when everybody's watching. So my issue is I'm going to shut up and dribble, and I'm going to vote for Kamala and Biden because I have no choice because Trump's a disaster. But what I'm not going to do is listen to everybody make this chick a saint when she's a disaster and is the opposite of everything you need in civil rights. That's me, period. And I'm like, let's not forget our history. And I'm tired of the whole, we always got to choose the lesser of two evils. Where are the people that are like me? Well, I'm ready for my own party. I'm tired of this BS. In real talk, if COVID hadn't hit, to me, that was the last straw for me with Trump and the way he's handled it. I would have just not voted at all. And I'm still a banana peel away. Every day I wrestle with myself about, am I going to be able to go to the polls and vote for Biden and Kamala? Y'all going to have to drag me there. I'm going to do my job, but I'm telling you, I'm vomiting the whole way. That's just me. I'm sorry. I can't. I cannot praise this woman. That's another thing. One more thing, and then I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah, go ahead.
This whole, she's going to be the first black woman BS. My issue is Clarence Thomas was the second African-American to ever sit on the U.S. Supreme Court, and he was a disaster. So let's not get hoodwinked. Because you're the first don't mean you're going to be good for us or going to be the best. Condoleezza Rice was the first, and what she was doing, it helped black folks how. Colin Powell was the first, and what he was doing, it helped black folks how. I'll wait. The dude in Kentucky right now that's not pressing charges against Breonna Taylor, is he not the first African-American attorney general in Kentucky? Meanwhile, he's putting felony charges on the African-American people that protested on his front lawn. But when white folks came to his house with AR-15, he didn't lock anybody up. So just because you're the first African-American doesn't mean you're going to be great for the community. Let's stop the BS. Is it just me?
I cannot disagree with none of the facts. I know all of that stuff. I agree with you. But what I appreciate is that at the end of the day, it came back to what I said. You got a simple choice. It's third party candidate, Biden, Harris, or Trump, Pence. That's what it is. And I think that the history matters, and we should use that to hold them accountable. But this is what it is. It is where we are. It wouldn't have been. We talked about this on air and personally, away from the air. Yeah. This wouldn't be my first choice. I got a long history of issues I got, but it is what it is. We are where we are.
And that's what I think the message needs to be. I feel like if people are like, it is what it is, like I respect the people that are calling in. They're like, you know what? She wasn't my choice. So what we going to do, y'all? It's either them or Trump. Respect. But there are people that are in my feed that are praising the shit like she was some sort of black female god. I'm like, are you delusional? Let's not overhype it. We're doing what we got to do.
This is just the beginning. This is just the first 24 hours. That narrative is going to get thicker. They're going to lay it on real thick. They're going to play it up. And if I was working with that campaign, I'd play it up too. I play up the whole narrative, the first black female, first black this, whatever it takes to cross the finish line. And then, voters and the people on social media going to follow behind it. So wait, it's going to get thicker than that. If you irritated now, wait until like late October. wait until then.
I can't believe people are calling her a progressive prosecutor. I'm like, since when? So last year she wasn't a progressive prosecutor. So now this year, because she's Biden's VP, now she's progressive.
But that's how you get the progressives in. That's how you get the progressives in. But again, I talked about it earlier. Mother Jones, shout out to them. They did great work. Democracy Now! Last year in July 2019, they did great work. Sort of unpeeling back that conversation, that narrative about her being a progressive prosecutor. But at this point, the only thing that matters is 2020, November. And that's it. I know you're going to talk about this on Friday, though, right?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about this on Friday, because there are people that are like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to come with receipts, because folks read articles. I download case law and decisions. So on Friday, I'm coming with it. Like, don't tell me that Kamala was a saint when I'm looking at her name on pleading with the BS. Tell that to Maurice Caldwell. Like, call her progressive to him. Tell that to the Latino who spent 20 years in jail, wrongfully prosecuted by her office, and then after DNA evidence exonerated him, they still try to keep this dude from getting his check and stop appeals on technicalities. She was a disaster. And to me, she only started getting herself together when she decided to run for president, because she knew she needed to clean it up. So my concern is...
You took the words out of my mouth. So my question was going to be, so what's the concern? Is the concern that this is just window dressing and she'll fall back to who she really is if she becomes the VP, and how that might impact the Biden administration? Because other than that, what's the utility in it?
Yes, it's both. I think I think right now, the Black Lives Matter stuff is popular, but she has shown that she has no moral compass, or her moral compass can be changed but by the wind. So if the voters make a shift and white folks push her in a different direction, and the Black Lives Matter movement and the Black agenda becomes less popular a year from now, when we've all forgotten about George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, because we will, that's what we do, then where will she be? Mm-hmm. I feel like my problem is she's dangerous because she's flighting. I'm the same Donyetta today that I was yesterday, that I was last week. Kamala flip-flops on every major issue. When she was a prosecutor and when she was AG, and sometimes in Congress. So this newfound Kamala Harris that we've got over the last 6 months, I'm concerned about how long she's going to last.
Okay.
So if she stays on this civil rights path, no problem. Make amends, make atonement. But this chick has not even apologized and even owned her BS from what she did to African Americans when she was in California. But to me, BLM is cool right now.
Right. It's fashionable.
Policing reform is cool right now. You know what I'm saying? We had nationwide protests all over the country for 45 days. Everybody went, look, you get civil rights, you get civil rights, you get civil rights, you get civil rights. But when this bandwagon is over and us real civil rights advocates gotta stay in the game after the cameras turn off, after Sam DeVoe's case is over, where will Kamala Harris be? Even with her Justice and Policing Act.
And she's one step away from the presidency.
Yeah.
So if they win, she's a step away. Joe is an older man with health issues.
Yeah.
What would that look like? So I think it's all fair. I can't wait to hear it. That's Friday at 12:30 p.m. I can't wait to hear it. People should tune in and hear your flows.
All right. Talk to you later. Have a good day.
And most deaf. That's Donnie B. Yo, it's going to be fire on Friday. I can't wait to hear it. It's going to be super fire. I appreciate it. But, what I also appreciate is she acknowledged what I said earlier. Like, it is what it is. We are where we are. This was not my two choices. I would have chosen two different people for both, president and vice president. Okay. For folks who don't know, my politics is more, I do a so-called gangster lean to the left. I'm much more progressive. That's how I would identify myself in my politics in today's landscape. That would be the most close way to do it. At the same time, I'm not against a Republican candidate. It depends on the election. It depends on the election. They talking sense and there are no better candidates. I'm going to do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? So, party means something, but it only means something to a certain extent. It depends. You know what I'm saying? I'm not voting for a bad Democrat just because they're a Democrat. It ain't going down like that. I don't feel it. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of how I generally vote to the left. That's just me personally. And this is what it is. And she said something else I agree with as well, which is the whole COVID-19 thing. Like, if you didn't think, because, I put Donald Trump in his proper place. I had to say this earlier. We got Mason Mahler on the line. I'll come to you straight away. Let me get this flow out real quick. But I put Donald Trump in his proper place. Like a lot of folks, it's like doom and gloom with Donald Trump. He's the worst. Is he worse at? His on-camera performance, his personality is completely out of the box. But baby Bush took us into a war of convenience that cost us trillions of dollars, transformed the future of U.S. foreign policy, and got thousands of Americans killed and maimed. There's a difference. So I'm just saying, let's keep it in this proper context here. I think I was talking to John earlier. Let's keep Trump in his proper context. I got a lot of policy reasons as to why I don't think that Trump is good for me and my family, the black family in particular, and voters in general, the country. He ain't really for us. He's for the elites. He's proven it over and over again, but he didn't take us into a war of convenience. 9/11 didn't happen under his watch. It happened on baby Bush's watch with Dick Cheney. Remember Halliburton? Remember Iraq? We've forgotten all of that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm on the anybody but Trump train as well, with some caveats. You know what I'm saying? But I also look at it for what it really is. You know what I'm saying? 9/11 happened on baby Bush's watch. Iraq, the fall of Saddam Hussein, our interactions in the Middle East, the war in Afghanistan, all of that happened under baby Bush, not Trump. I ain't trying to say Trump's a good guy. I'm just saying let's put him in his proper context. Let's look at the facts. His on-camera performance is completely off the rails. His personality completely narcissistic and self-indulgent. His actions the same way, but the impact, outside of the federal judges that he's put in lifetime appointments, and that falls back on us, the people. We should have showed up for Barack Obama during those midterms, and Trump would not have had the opportunity to put as many judges in place. That's on us. But outside, a lot of these policy and executive orders can quickly be reversed with the new presidency. That's all I'm trying to say. All right, so let's keep it in its proper context. Let me go back to the phones here and say good morning and welcome to the show.
What's going on, Nate? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Mason Marler, welcome, brother.
Man, I got that first day of school feeling, Nate. I couldn't sleep last night, man. I had the jeans all pressed, had the generic sweater going on with the button down, the first light tube socks, and the white K-Swiss, man.
Is that right?
I was ready to go. It sounded like Eddie Swiss again.
You said, I know that feeling, man. You got some new clothes, you lay them out.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? You can't wait to go to school the first day. You're going to be looking fresh.
Yeah, I'm talking chiller toes, waiting for Lazarus and Dillis and all that stuff. I'm going old school. Like over there on Winter Road by Spring Grove Cemetery type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
You know, Nate, for the last 3 years, because I heard you give your praise to Black Finneytown, and but Nate, haven't I been saying for the last 3.5 years the influence of the black woman, more specifically in the Democratic Party? Haven't I been talking about that for a while, especially after the 2018 elections when the Democrats took over the House?
By record, I recall that. I can recall that.
Yes, I've been talking about it for a while now. So I take umbrage with the whole idea by Black Russia and others that people don't want to recognize the influence or the power that black women hold within the Democratic Party. Anybody that follows politics in any way, shape, or form knows that black women are the reason why Joe Biden was able to power through after Iowa and New Hampshire. You know, little white states that, you know, had the little white caucus states in the beginning that, you know, really aren't representative of the Democratic Party. We've talked about that, Nate, for the last 2 years, especially given the primaries. But Nate, you asked the fundamental question. What does this pick do for the Democratic Party, Nate? And I think if the last two callers are indicative of the weight of this choice. You got a guy that we all know, he's like, a lightweight kind of Republican type. You know, Jim Mills supported him. He said he would wear a David Mann Amadeus wig. Now he's willing to vote for the A's. He's, she's part of a fraternity, sorority that I guess he's a fraternity brother. So she has that connection. So he said he's going to vote for her. She has the historical connection. So he said he's going to vote for her. He had a woman call in, very prominent, respected young lady, and Donnie B, who has her complaint, and rightfully so. But she said that she's going to vote for her, Nate. Now, you've got those groups, those two separate groups over there, along with college-educated women, black college-educated women, women as a whole. You know the polls show that the elderly have soured on the Republican Party and Donald Trump because they basically spent 3 or 4 months saying grandma and grandpa could die for the cause. They was basically Herman Cain before Herman Cain. And they're decided to vote against, they're decided that they're no longer solidly behind the Republican Party. And they, with 160,000 deaths later, what do you have to lose? Apparently, almost 200,000 Americans. His COVID response alone is enough for me to vote against him. Because you know what, Nate? It's directly affecting me, and it's affecting me as a parent. Everything that we have to deal with, Nate, right now, as far as our kids are concerned and how we feel about their safety and inside the school building, those are all the results of his lack of confidence. Am I flying or flying, Nate?
Okay, I'm with you so far, yeah.
I mean, really. The reason why I'm working from home is because what? We didn't have a coherent response to the virus. We're sitting here, Nate, wondering if our kids are going to go back to school because what? He decided to throw away the pandemic response team. And then remember the press conference where he didn't even know that it happened, Nate? Right. He was like, I'm not familiar with it. I'm like, dude, these are people inside your own damn cabinet. Susan Rice said it best. She left him a playbook, Pandemic for Dummies, and the dummy threw it away. So, like I said, Nate, I'm happy as hell, man. I heard the home rule bell, Operation Blue Dog. You know, we can't be in the hallways after the bell rings. So I'm about to jump inside the classroom, Mrs. Ware room. I'm on the second floor at Woburn High School. And she's the same lady said, stop running up and down the hall. The zoo is on Erkenbrook. That was her main fan all the time. But I'm feeling good about this, Nate.
Okay. You think it's a winning pick, huh?
Oh, Nate, first of all, pure politics. Can you imagine chalkboard, Max Headroom, Mike Pence trying to debate Kamala Harris? That's where they're shaking, Nate. What are you going to do, a little cardboard cutout? And they have all the comments, of Mike Pence saying, under the president's leadership, we've done great affecting the COVID virus. Like, oh yeah, really? Kamala gonna point that out.
He's hard to rattle, though. That's one thing about Mike Pence. He seems to be very hard to rattle. You know what I'm saying? He stays in his lane.
But let me also get this out the way, Dave. It is funny, and I don't know if people realize this, but since LBJ, every Democratic vice president has run for president. Think about that.
Is that right?
Not the Republicans, but every single Democratic vice president since LBJ has run for president. So, Democrats love to, hey, move the chain on up. These last couple of chains, last decade and a half, we've had 2 black candidates, Nate. Let me ask you, Nate, who's the black candidate on the Republican side that you can see, 4 years from now, 8 years from now, even challenging Mike Pence? Who, Tim Scott? He's the only one left.
Yeah.
Am I right or wrong?
I can't think of anybody else. Tim Scott.
What, Drop gonna run?
Probably not. That's a good question, man. None. They don't have any black reserves. Nobody on the bench waiting to come in and try to hit a ball and get on base and hit a home run. I don't see it.
Well, you know who they like to throw out there? Nikki Haley. You talking about somebody that ain't black?
Nikki Haley. She's not black.
Yeah, Nikki Haley. Right, exactly. But that's a person of color. That's the same reason why they threw Herman Cain out there, Nate. 999.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same reason why they throw. You talk about Sleepy Ben. What's the hell name? Ben Clarkson. That guy's awake and he looks like he's asleep when he's on national TV. Like he don't smoke like 2 joints. Sorry, kids. But yeah. So you talk about desperate. The only people desperate are the Drops and the Republicans of the world. And again, Nate, you can feel that desperation over the last probably 5 to 6 months, especially since the pandemic. Drops like trigger. He's trying to cut you off. He don't want to answer questions. He just want to get off and run. Oh, and let me go ahead and throw this out there too, because I didn't mention it, but I got to get this off. Drop a couple weeks ago, he tried to insinuate that somehow I told on him, and that's the reason why his Twitter account was suspended.
Right.
No, Drop, your Twitter account was suspended because you spam people. And everybody knows you can't put a freaking 100 damn at, Nathan Ivey, at, Clev on the side. That's the reason why they suspended. He's a damn fool. And it had nothing to do with anybody telling on, they just hey, we gotta get this guy out of here. And let me also say this. Twitter and Facebook, they not coming at you about Bruce Hoffbauer. Somebody told on you. You know that. Twitter and Facebook not worried about Nathan Ivey going after Bruce Hoffbauer. That was probably one of those West Side haters that probably said, "Oh, Nate did something about Bruce Hoffbauer, and now we got to flag it."
Right. Well, that's what I meant. I didn't think what I meant. Bruce Hoffbauer supporters might have reported my website as if I was saying something that was not factual. It was some self-loathing Negroes here just hating. Either or. Exactly. In Cincinnati, either or equally likely, which is sad.
This happened to me, man. Believe me. And, I go ham on the people down the Republican Party all the time. I believe me, I don't know how many years I've been on radio, I've had people call my job, especially when I was at the coroner's office, wondering whether I using county time to call radio stations. I've had to go through that type of crap. So I know all of, I know all of, you got the Twitter mob out there. Drop has basically become a stalker. I'm wondering, what's up? Nate, I could have a Twitter conversation with Jason Whitlock and Clay Travis, and then Drop adds me and 8 other people to the thread. I'm and they're where did dude come from? I'm I know, it's tripped down. I'm dude, you really need a life or the gun go unretired. Because either that or you need I'm sorry, kid, but something. But Nate, like I said, man, I had to get that off my chest. I'm glad to hear my girl Donnie B call in and say this, and I don't want her to shut up and dribble. No, I want you to keep speaking your voice, because that momentum, that voice is what actually is powering this movement, y'all. Again, I say this all the time. There's a difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, because the Republican Party has one group, white males between 35 and 105. The Democratic Party got women, black, brown, Asian, Jew, Just about every section of America. And we're going to have disagreement. And that's okay. Iron sharpens iron. And like you always say, open your mind before you open your mouth. And right now, we need to open our mouth and get our ass out there and vote and get this bum out the White House. Maybe I got to get back to work, man. But you know how it is. In the end, I hope they get one out spitting. You sissies.
Appreciate the calls and the passion this morning. Majestic writes, Kamala doesn't consider herself to be black. One, she grew up white, married to a white man, and doesn't consider herself to be black. James writes, who is this clown? Did you catch that he said no more black candidates because no more foolishness? Kev on the Sales writes, Majestic, you obviously haven't read her book in which she talks about her experience as a black woman. Sissy Tigress writes, okay, I'm done. I don't have the energy. Her daddy is black. She is black, period. I agree. She's a black woman. When white people look at her, they look at her and see a black person. She's a person of color, all the same thing. Let me see. Good morning, Thunder. What say you? Mason Marlin writes, Jim Neal is trash. Kamala talks about her fear in going to the airport and the fact that her husband had no worries and the realization of the stark contrast. That's Kev on the sale. Brian writes, she says she's black and majestic. She unfortunately had to clarify the fact in an interview. I think I remember that. Cincy Tigers writes, I love nasty women. Fracking is more important than COVID-19, LOL. Did he just compare her to sports? Always a reference of entertainment with these people. Mike Jones writes, Drop is crying in Cali right now. Sharp writes, fight for the future is now. Register and mobilization to the polls. Mason Marlin writes, I dance for fracking. Question mark. Brian writes, when he speaks, I can't even listen. He's an embarrassment to our community. It's like we're living in an episode of Slides, sci-fi series where Trump is president. LOL, Sliders. I used to watch that. I'm a big fan of sci-fi, that genre. And I enjoyed that. That was a pretty cool series. May not be something you get into. It was a niche. But I remember that. It was like some white friends and they brought a black dude along with them. And they created a way to create dimensions into different realities, which were all just like the same world, but it was a little bit different. And so they spent like 3 years and like 300 episodes trying to get back to their original Earth, so to speak. It was interesting. Majestic writes, Drop Squad is in Cali, joyful for the Kamala picked as VP. She performed poorly in the Democratic run for president, ambiguous race and jacked up career record. Trump's base are energized and ready to posse up. Are the democratically voting base ready to do the same? Okay, Ms. D writes, greetings. Jericho writes, hola, beautiful black people, and the others too. I wasn't wishing for Kamala. I think this might cost Biden, she says. Oh, that's interesting. Do you think that this choice will cost Biden? Haven't heard that one. That's interesting. Sissy Tigers writes, anybody but a dead body. Drop Harris is a good choice. Mike Jones writes, the only bad part is when they win, we'll lose one of 2 black U.S. senators. All those white men in the Senate are part of the problem with this country. Well, that goes back on the California governor who, what is his name? Gavin Newsom, Democrat, white male. Now he gets a chance to choose another U.S. senator. Will he choose a person of color? Will he choose another black female? Or will it be a white male? That's a big choice. I think he'll choose a person of color. Who will that be? Who will that be? I don't know. I'm inside the chop shop. Kamala is not the sexiest pick. The black Democrats took the Democrat Party hostage. This is identity politics at best. Poor strategy. California will replace Harris with a Democratic senator. Cincy Tigers writes, you're stressing me out. This AM Majestic. What do you think would have been a better move? The Minister of Information is in the house. She writes, good morning, Nate. Good to see you, Minister. Mason Marler writes, so blacks taking over the party is a bad thing? Question mark. What set you claiming? Question mark. Let me flash forward here just a little bit. Cassandra writes, would they be considering more black if they were biracial but dark skinned? Ray writes, Redwood USA receives approval for $23 million for a new apartment development project in Coleraine Township. Development continues to move forward. Little local flavor here. Jerica writes, I agree that this is not the same show that it was 2 years ago. Please expound, Ed Drop. I don't know what she's getting at. The growth is good. Cassandra writes, I thought Drop was about to say you got to use what you got to get, but you won't. Fanon Rucker will not be able to run for higher office after being a prosecutor. Help it make sense. Why not? Why won't he be? As a black male, I'm an independent. I obviously lean more towards the left. There goes that belief at Drop, a monolith, LOL, right. Kamala is going to eat Pence's lunch in the debates. Pence, it would be interesting to see if she can penetrate his armor. You know, Pence has very thick armor. He plays his role. I remember the debates with Tim Kaine, but Tim Kaine wasn't willing to do what it took to try to drag Pence out of his comfort zone. Will Kamala have that? I don't know. We'll find out. These are very highly intelligent people, highly skilled with human interactions. Majestic writes, you're my master plan, Tigress. I forgot what we were discussing. Okay. What? Tracy is laughing at Jerica. Majestic writes, I never said I had a plan, Tigress. Oh, boy. Cincy Tigers writes, i.e. WAP. If you ain't down with that, you must like WAB. I don't know if I want to go there. I think I understand what that means. I don't. You are hilarious for that one. I'm not going to touch it. Drop writes, Joe Biden is the presidential candidate, not Kamala Harris. Yeah, but, you know, Joe is boring. He's boring. So his VP needs to add some not boring, something that gets people excited. That's going to get a lot of people excited. Maybe that's more female voters, but whomever, that's going to excite some people. It might excite some black people. We shall see. We shall see. Yes, do that, but make sense if possible. You don't. None of this is morning. Majestic, in my own humble opinion. Oh, boy. Mrs. Love being black writes, wasn't both of them strippers before the rap game? Was Megan Thee Stallion a stripper? I know that Cardi B did her thing. I think Megan Thee Stallion was just a regular civilian. I don't know. I don't think she was a stripper. Tiffany writes, you are going to let this song drive you all crazy when there are far worse songs and videos out there. It's the latest conversation du jour, Miss Tiffany. You know how it goes. You're right. In 2 months, we'll be talking about another song. But for now, Brian writes, visually as a male, thumbs up. Lyrics, thumbs down. Well, I mean, as a man, as a grown man, as a heterosexual grown man, the visuals and the lyrics don't bother me at all. I'm about that life. I don't got no problem with it. I'll say it again. Everything can't be for the kids. When you turn on cable television, you got multiple channels. Every channel is not kid friendly. It's not Cartoon Network on every channel. That would be boring. That would be intolerable. I want some adult stuff. I like adult themed things. I like rated R. When I'm in the mood for it, I like rated X when I'm in the mood for it. Because I'm grown. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to watch documentaries all the time. I don't want to watch sports all the time. I want to mix it up depending on, you know, how I feel, what I'm in the mood for. Same with my music. Sometimes I'm into the conscious rap. They got something to say. That might be, you know, my favorite lane. But sometimes I want to deviate to some other things when I get ready to. All right. That's my prerogative. And I like it that way. So I'll say it again, as a grown man, I ain't got no problem with WAP. I'm about that life. You know what I'm saying? I don't got no problem with the video. I ain't got no problem with the lyrics as a grown man. Now, for my children, for the culture of youth out there, that's something different. Just so you understand where I'm coming from. Don't stop the adult stuff because I'm here for that. You know what I'm saying? Don't stop that. But, some things are for kids, some things for our adults. Simple as I tell my children all the time. This is our house. My kids think that everything that me and my wife do, they supposed to be able to do. No, don't work that way. As simple as that. This is our bed. It's our bedroom. Leave. You know what I'm saying? You can come back in when it's family time. Now it's adult time. We'll holler at you. The other day, I'm going to tell you the quick story, the true story. So the other day we having dinner, and my wife and I, and it's very heart healthy for me to get salmon. That's a very heart healthy thing. The fat in salmon is really good for you, right? And I've completely radically changed my diet, my whole relationship. So we cooked them something. I forget what we cooked them. And I made some extra salmon for me and the wifey and brought it out, put it on our plates. My daughter looking like, can I have some? No. Now we end up giving her a little piece. But we made this for us. We make the money here. We pay for the insurance here. This is our home. You are our children living in our home. I had to hit it with the whole Bill Cosby. Like, no, this is our stuff. We let you borrow the Wi-Fi until you get 18 or maybe a little older than that, depending on whether you can take care of yourself. So I'm a big believer in some things for adults and everything else, some things for the kids. And again, they get a lot of things and do a lot of things that I'm just not into. These children, man, they think they're so spoiled. I did exactly what I wanted to do. Before I had children, I said I wanted to have some Cosby kids, and I got them. Trust me. They are so spoiled. It's our fault. Ken Kobach writes, F that WAP BS, bump that Rick Ross, pin to the cross. Real grown men rap lyrics. Okay, you keep saying that. I'm not even hip to it, bro. I admit it. I will check it out. I will check it out. All right, let me go back to Facebook. I still got Mason Marler on the line. He ain't even on the line no more. Let me take him off. Let me go back to Facebook. Let me see. Sarah, who called in earlier, writes, they're not running the system. They're in place. They're placed into it by those who control it. I think it's going back to my conversation with Rob. Charles writes, replying to Deborah, tell that to all the black folks talking about leaving the U.S. because of racism. Smart people know it's global. Greg's announced, he writes, though I don't agree with Rob's preference for Republicans, he has a point in that Kamala Harris participated in the system of incarceration by having prosecuted people for marijuana. And to the person who wrote, quote, if you don't do the time, you don't do the crime, marijuana should be completely legal. Again, all facts. I said that with all the callers. Donnie called in. Anybody who makes that point about Kamala, I fully recognize it. I mean, all facts. And again, I think her record, whether it be a record of flip-flopping or record of taking the wrong stance in history, it should come up between now and November. It should be used to hold her accountable if she becomes the vice president, which if you're the vice president, the other thing about it is, and this goes back to Joe Biden, is that there's a difference between being the vice president and being the vice president. If Joe Biden is really about that life and he loves black people and he sees Kamala Harris as being this strong partner, then he should arm her and give her the ability to have the kind of VP relationship that, let's say, Dick Cheney had. Baby Bush made Dick Cheney like the miniature president. Dick Cheney had say-so in the Baby Bush administration. So that's the other question I have for Joe Biden. You know, beyond the symbolism of making this woman of color your running mate, and that helps him. Because you can make the argument that Joe Biden needs Kamala Harris more than Kamala Harris needs Joe Biden. But what kind of VP is she going to be? Is he going to give her the reins and let her run with it and let her have a say-so in policy and let her be visible? Is she going to be a strong VP or is she going to be a weak VP like Mike Pence? You know, Trump's ego is far too sensitive to allow Mike Pence to have any real kind of power or say so, right? And that's the real question. It's two questions. Number one, holding Kamala's troubled history and holding her accountable to it. And number two, what kind of VP is Joe Biden going to allow Kamala to actually be? Because it's all, if they win, it's all in his hands. She could be the first black female VP that really has some say-so and really has some power, or she can be window dressing. We'll find out. 513-873-7134. I got to make a move, family. I got to make this move. I appreciate you being here so much this morning. I'm trying to get forward here hey, what's up, Jack? Appreciate it. Listen, all the new people listening on YouTube, and maybe you made the transition. I really appreciate you. And I need your help this morning, family, because I'm trying to reach the first milestone in terms of having a YouTube channel. And the first milestone, call, I'm coming straight to you before I end this morning. The first milestone is to reach 1,000 subscribers. I mean, there's some others. I've reached those already, but 1,000 subscribers. That will allow me to monetize my YouTube channel and will unlock certain tools that are only available when you reach that milestone on YouTube. You may not know this. Maybe some of you do already. Okay, so please, if you're on YouTube, if you go to YouTube for news and entertainment, you can find the Nathan Ivey Show, the Daily Show, and whatever we do afterward on that YouTube channel and other channels I'm working on as well. But I need your help. Please hit the subscriber button. I need at least 1,000 subs. I've never really pushed my YouTube, even though I used to post the audio of the Daily Show there. But now I really want to push it. And I think before the show I was at like 254 subs. So I'm about 750 away, which I know we can do with this audience. I'm fully confident. Just need to put the word out to everybody. So please go on YouTube sometime today and hit me with a subscription. Also enable the bell. And that's very important on YouTube so you can get notified for live streams such as this show, which is a live stream, and also all video uploads that I will upload as well. So please do me a solid, help your boy out this morning and help me reach that first milestone. All right, let me go back to the phones and say good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Nathan. Good morning. I listen. I am subscribed. I ring my bell. I listen all the time, and I click like on most of the videos that I like. And sometimes I'm driving when I'm listening to you, but I don't always agree with you.
Okay.
But I do think that you have an important voice. I appreciate you, trying to play an even tone. But I have to, this is Marquetta, by the way, I've spoken with you on other platforms. I have to ask you how would you identify Kamala Harris as a black woman? Like when I heard them saying they wanted a VP black woman, I was thinking like Barbara Lee. I was thinking like Sheila Jackson. I was thinking like Nina Turner. Because when I think of black people, I think about people who are descendants of American slavery, who experienced Jim Crow, who fought for the right to be within Congress. And she doesn't come from that heritage. She is a Brahmin. She's a South Brahmin Indian. Her mother and her, they went to Canada when we were fighting, and they came back and got those gangs. So that's my opinion. But I just wanted to hear, when I hear you all say this black woman, I want to hear what makes her black to you.
Well, her father is black. His father is Jamaican, right? And aren't Jamaicans descendants?
Jamaican is not. No, sir. Jamaican is not a race. Jamaican is a nationality. And her father is also an Indian. And he is a descendant of slave owners. When all of this stuff starts to come out, you're going to see them pull out her family tree and how her mother is the top caste of Indians, Brahmin Indian in society, which would make a dark-skinned black person a Dalit. A Dalit is a person who is untouchable. On her father's side, he is also Indian, and he descends from somebody named Brown. That doesn't mean that he's black. He is Indian. They were also enslaved by the British. And they did not go through Jim Crow, lynching. He is a Stanford professor today. He benefited from his ancestors holding all of the slaves that may have been also family members to him. So again, slavery and our color does not unite us. Black people in America fought for certain rights and protections for the Black people who were enslaved and prosecuted here in America. That's something we have to remember, because when you start talking about Kamala Harris and her record, she targeted poor Black mothers to incarcerate for truancy, poor Black men, even when their sentences was up. She still made them go fight the wildfires. She kept people in prison and denied them their constitutional rights. She bragged about being a top cop at a time where we're fighting police brutality. When has the Democratic Party said we need Black male leadership, or the Republican Party? So, I'm going to listen offline. I'm going to continue to watch you. I always see you and your family out. Y'all are absolutely adorable. I think that you are a great image for Black masculinity and being a strong father. That is something that we need to see. Being a faithful and loving husband and being innovative and creative enough to get your voice heard, because for the most part, Black male voices are exploited in the wrong way. But I'm not going to get into that. I'd like to hear you explain to me how she's Black. Okay.
Okay. Appreciate you, Marquetta. Yeah, appreciate it. I mean, she hit me with a heavy question here at the end of the show. And, I want to definitely directly answer the question. So, again, please feel free either on this show or future shows, because I think she opened up a door for something I've been thinking about for a while. And see, the real issue in your question is less about Kamala Harris, and it's more about how we use the term Black to identify ourselves. The fact of it is, family, if you really want to get deep and intellectual with it, there's a lot of folks out there, a lot of scholars who will say that we are not Black. We're the only people in this country who are identified by a color. Everybody else is identified by history and geography. Okay, so that's the root of this conversation, to take it even away from Kamala Harris. We need to have a conversation about how we define ourselves and how we talk about ourselves. And I think it's problematic, to be honest with you. I mean, not to get super deep. And again, I could spend an entire show on this, and I think we should. But as I said earlier, there's a lot of people out there who believe that we are not Black. Like, African Americans have adopted that because it was the opposite of white. And almost it was a revolt, a linguistic revolt against the way white people would categorize us, right? So if you look in a dictionary, everything that's Black has a negative connotation. So modern day African Americans use that term Black almost like a badge of color, a courage, right? Not color, but courage, to self-identify ourselves, to thumb our nose at white supremacy. But if you really look at it and you're really fair about it, that may not be the best way to define us. Some have said, and again, I'm getting super deep here at the end of the show, Marquetta, but some have suggested it might be more correct to identify ourselves as Moorish, the descendants of Moors, M-O-O-R. In fact, there's a lot of brothers and sisters that identify to that, and you'll see that out in social media and other places as well. So, I mean, there's a deeper conversation, beyond just Kamala Harris. But in a more simpler term, as I understand it, her father is Black. He is from Jamaican descent. And as I understand it, again, set me wrong if I'm straight, family, but there's a large percentage of Jamaicans who have a West African origin, right? So there's the continent of Africa you bring into it, which would bring in the term Black. Again, that's problematic for a lot of people. But a lot of African Americans, we wear it as a brag. We don't really think too deeply about it. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody else, it's something else. Caucasians, Asians, Chinese. It's only us that use that term. And I get it. It's like a modern day term. It's a response to slavery and Jim Crow and things like that. So what I would say is, as I said earlier, that perhaps the real question is how we use that term, and should we use it? More so whether Kamala Harris is accurate in being called that. The question could be, are any of us really accurate in calling ourselves Black? But again, that's a really deep question. And that's super deep at the end, Marquetta, for me to get into it. Just wanted to try to answer it directly. and maybe open the door for a future conversation, because there's a lot of smart scholars out there and folks I've come across that make a very strong argument that African Americans or blacks in this country are misusing that term when we self-identify. We don't really talk about that. I know a lot of black people use it like, yeah, I'm black. It's a badge of honor, because it's like I said earlier, it's a revolt. It's an answer to white supremacy that we use the term black in a negative way. So we're going to take that term and turn it into something positive, right? I get it. But if we get intellectual about it and trying to be accurate, there's a larger conversation about that. Hopefully I answered everything in enough time there to give you my thoughts on it. I hope I did. What I'm willing to do is to reach out to some scholars, some folks who I've come across who can make a very strong argument about that and probably speak to it, not probably, can definitely speak to it far better and much more eloquently than I can. But hopefully that satisfies you, Marquetta, and I got to the root of it. That's a deeper conversation for all of us that we don't really have as African Americans or black people in America. But I'm just telling you, there are some folks that are like, you ain't black. You shouldn't use that term. So again, hopefully I got a chance to answer it. But thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. I promise you I'll pick that back up, Marquetta, because again, I think that opens the door for a deeper conversation that may give us some enlightenment or some understanding about how we self-identify, whether it be Kamala or whomever in this particular country, in this particular time. But I want to say thank you so much to all of the listeners this morning and the viewers. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate you. Shout out to Team and I. Shout out to my patrons. Really appreciate you this morning. Shout out to our sponsors. There's a link to today's show sponsor in the description of today's show. And if you're interested in medical coding, it'd be a great opportunity and a great avenue for you to learn more and get some free training. So check them out. Viva la Chapas. Have an excellent rest of your day. I'll talk with you in less than 24 hours. And remember our motto: winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll talk real soon. I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.